I want you all to really look at your kids from the area of language development. Do they really understand what is being said? Because when kids don't understand the language, they get confused and then they're going to act out because they're scared. It's very scary to be confused. And so if you don't understand the world around you, you're going to act out and you're not going to be able to follow the rules and you're going to get stressed out and completely dysregulated. And what it really stems from is just a language deficit, especially kids who were adopted internationally because they didn't have our language to start with, but also kids in foster care, kids that are adopted. A lot of our kids did not have language in the way that Andy did. Andy grows up in a household where in the mother's womb, the mother is reading books to the baby, right? And the baby is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, and this child has had books read over and over again. And then by the time the child gets to kindergarten, how many words has that child been exposed to? Probably, I think I read a statistic one time. I wish I had it still in my head, but the number is outrageous, the number of words that Andy going into kindergarten has versus a Billy. Maybe Billy came from a neglectful home, parents who were overly stressed, parents who just didn't have time to read as much as they wanted to or should have. And so now Billy comes into kindergarten with how many words? I mean, like 1,000 times less than Andy. So he hasn't had the language. So what I want us to think about doing is some of our kids may need to have the language skills tested. It's not speech therapy they need, it's actually language therapy that they need. The brain is also affected in their ability to be able to maintain themselves in an academic environment. So their academic development is hindered. They can't focus, they can't concentrate, their ability to process information is slow. Their ability to be able to take in information and store it is one problem. And then also, even if a child can store the information, some kids can't retrieve the information. Their brains are not wired in a way. And so some of our kids will need probably more of a neuropsych evaluation so that we can really tell what their thinking looks like. How are they able to retrieve information? How are they processing language? What are their verbal processing skills? What are their language processing skills? What's the speed of their processing? This all is going to be very different for Billy. Again, it's not a disorder. It's simply that his brain or her brain is working at a different rate and in a very different way. Social development is important because our kids don't know how to get along with the other kids in the classroom. And obviously school, besides the academics being challenging, socially is very challenging. Think about your schools growing up, elementary, middle, and high school. A lot of your memories are the social interactions, not the academics. School is all about the social development, and our kids are going to be very far behind in that. And so having group work for you all that are counselors and guidance counselors and therapists and within schools, think about how you can get our Billies into some sort of social development group and social learning groups. We've got to help our kids and teach them how to do that. It's interesting to me that we sort of expect Billy just to pick it up, and the reality is he's not going to be able to pick it up. He actually has to be taught how to get along with others, how to problem solve, how to negotiate. Billy just gets mad and angry and knocks the kid next to him, or the opposite, hypoaroused, just gets mad and walks away and goes plays by themselves and isolates himself, and they don't go back into trying to make it work. Andy has a curiosity. Andy has a love for human connection. Billy does not. And so these are the things we have to teach our kids. And then physical development, obviously they're a little bit smaller physically, which can be threatening. In a high school, you've got some pretty large Andys. They're, physically, some of our kids are just like grown men in high school. And if you've got a Billy who maybe had failure to thrive, just physically, they're going to be very threatened. And then emotional development is a huge one. Emotionally, our kids are definitely further behind. Big one to look at is our emotional development. The more that we can work with this model that I'm teaching, though, the more it really does help our kids learn emotional intelligence. But again, parents, I want to do this at home. Work with your kids to develop their emotional skills, the language of human emotion. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm grateful, I'm happy, I'm scared. Very basic words to start teaching our kids how to express themselves so that they don't do it behaviorally, but they learn the emotional words to be able to talk about their feelings. They don't want to, but we got to start helping them.